Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak all around the world. Say salam where you from. We'll get started in 2 minutes. Salams where you're from. Salams and where you're from. Salam and where you're from. Salam and where you're from. And your Ramadan Mubaraks all around the world. Salam and where you're from. Salam and where you're from. Suraya in the UK, wa alaikum assalam. Saira, wa alaikum assalam. Salam and where you're from. Moon sighting or moon fighting. Alaikum assalam, Saira. In Houston. Muhammad Rafin Mahshur in Seattle. Alaikum assalam. Samira in Abu Dhabi. Alaikum assalam. Mulai in Dallas. Mulai? Samir in Maryland. Alaikum assalam. Mulai. Is your name pronounced Mulai? Is that right? Ramadan Mubarak. Sharifa in Minnesota, alaikum assalam. Taan in Washington, D.C., alaikum assalam. Farah in Houston, wa alaikum assalam. Shazia in Wichita, alaikum assalam. We've hit 100 and we've hit the top of the hours. Let's get done. In Philadelphia, alaikum assalam. Patricia. Take one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa wala amma ba'd. Before we begin, I have good news for you. Inshallah ta'ala, this Ramadan, we bring back the classic Taraweeh Truffles. Taraweeh Truffles is a Facebook video that I used to do. We're going to do a Facebook Live this time. But we used to do Facebook videos back in like 2008 or 2009, something like that. It's a long time ago. And alhamdulillah, actually, my page here grew because of those videos that we did, the Taraweeh Truffles. We did it year after year, and then we kind of got into Visionaire and Ramadan. But inshallah ta'ala, I have a plan that we are doing Visionaire Ramadan this year, and we're going to do the Taraweeh Truffles. We're going to do both. So you need to take note that the Taraweeh Truffles are going to be broadcasted at 1 p.m. New York time. What time is that in the UK? 1 p.m. New York time, I think is, I don't know. Let me just check for you what time UK is. 1 p.m. New York is... 1 p.m. New York is what time UK? It is 6 p.m. So it's going to be at 6 p.m. in the UK, London, and stuff like that. Every day, inshallah ta'ala, throughout the month of Ramadan. Taraweeh Truffles. The concept of the Taraweeh Truffles is that as each day we're reciting a juz from the Quran in the Facebook Live, I'm going to take a verse from that juz so we can reflect on it. Just one verse, one concept, and we'll base it on that, inshallah ta'ala. So 1 p.m. New York is 6 p.m. UK, it seems. Anyways, 1 p.m. New York, whatever time it is in the UK, you know best. So let's get started. Bismillah. So today we're talking about moon sighting or moon fighting. I wished I could talk about a different topic right now, but this is the topic of the hour, especially as the moon and Maghrib time starts coming into Western countries. Western countries don't have the same leadership as you have in Muslim countries. And so there's a lot of different bodies, a lot of people talking about the moon sighting issue. And I think, inshallah ta'ala, that this would be a great reminder for you guys of how to solve the moon sighting versus moon fighting issue. Okay, so here's what you got. The Prophet ﷺ said, So I've solved this moon fighting issue long time ago. I've never had a problem with it. I've never had a problem with it based on an Islamic principle. And I'm going to share it with you, inshallah ta'ala, give you a background of the moon fighting issue, and then share with you why I don't ever have a problem and why you'll never need to have a problem with this issue. So here it goes. There are generally 4 opinions on how the month of Ramadan starts, and they're all valid. All of the 4 opinions are actually valid. I don't know about the 4th one, but 3 of the 4 are kind of valid. So let me tell you how it goes. Actually, the 4th one too, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so the Prophet ﷺ said, "Sumu li ru'yatihi," fast when you see it, the moon. وَأَفْطِرُوا لِرُؤْيَتِهِ, and break your fast, meaning the end of the month of Ramadan, لِرُؤْيَتِهِ. فَإِنْ غُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ, and if the clouds cover up the skies, فَأَكْمِلُوا عِدَّةَ Sha'ban. Complete the month of Sha'ban, 30 days. Okay? So this hadith, all of the opinions actually have basis in it. So let's look at the first opinion. The first opinion will tell you that whoever sees the moon in the whole world, the whole Muslim world will be accepted, and they will start fasting. That's why you'll see some people, let's say North America, this happens in Canada, US, and stuff like that. They'll be like, oh, somebody saw the moon in Papua New Guinea, therefore we're gonna fast. We don't care. Somebody saw it. Somebody from the Muslims saw it in the world, so we're gonna fast. And so that's based on the hadith, sumu, you should fast when you see it. And they say you refers to the whole Muslim ummah. That's the first opinion. The second opinion is that, no, you have to locally see it. You have to locally see it. So it doesn't matter what they see in Papua New Guinea. Doesn't matter what they see in as they say, in Saudi. We have to see it locally. And they base this on the same hadith, which is, fast when you see it. So the first people are saying when you, meaning the ummah, see it. And the second group is saying fast when you see it, when you actually see the moon. Okay? So that's the second group. The third group are the calculations people. So the calculations people, Muslims, they're all Muslims, alhamdulillah. Calculations are based on, the end part of the hadith says like this. If it's clouded over and you can't see it, then calculate the month 30 days. Calculate the month before Ramadan 30 days. Calculate the month. فَقْدُرُوا like uqdura. It's a calculation. So then the third group say, based on this hadith, that calculation has some validity. So therefore, we will just calculate, now that we have this technology and the calculations and moonsight, all of these things, we'll just calculate it. So that's a third opinion. And by the way, while I'm saying this, what opinion do you guys have? Anyways, actually, before I ask what opinion, let me give you an analogy first, and then I'll ask you the fourth opinion is this. Fourth opinion says that there's so much difference of opinion in my community that, I came from Bangladesh, and even though I live in Toronto, I'm going to follow Bangladesh. And the next person says, there's so much difference of opinion. I'm from Trinidad, so I'm just going to follow what Trinidad says. And the third person says, in my country, in Egypt, everything is fine. I will follow Egypt. And so on and so forth. The fourth opinion is just follow your home country, because everything was so much easier in your home country. Okay, so this is the question for you guys. You are now the ruler of a valley in some mythical world. You're the ruler. You're the Muslim ruler. And in this valley, you're the ruler, and everybody's looking to you to sight the moon. Which opinion will you take? And it's your responsibility. Which opinion will you take knowing that they're all valid? Let's hear from you guys. And before I forget, I want to remind you, inshallah ta'ala, tomorrow we're going to do these Facebook Lives, these daily huddles under Taraweeh truffles. It starts at 1 p.m. New York time, which is, according to some calculations, 6 p.m. in the UK. inshallah ta'ala. So that'll give you time in the UK before iftar to enjoy these beautiful Taraweeh truffles. Okay, so back to the question. You are the ruler of a little valley in a mythical Muslim valley. Which opinion will you take? Let me hear from you. Asma Khalid says, I will assign the task to the weather network. So you will go with calculations, I assume. Forget scholars, right? The weather network. Samir Ali says, I will take the opinion that you see it locally. And Nida says, yay, Taraweeh truffles are back. Let's get two more people. Nia says, I go with the opinion of my local masjid and I don't think about it more than this. So Nia, we're talking about if you are the ruler of a village in some mythical world, which opinion will you choose? Wasafa says, what's the question? The question is, if you are the ruler, you have these 4 different opinions that fast when you locally see it, fast when anybody in the world sees it, use calculations to determine this, or just follow a home country. Okay, so we got some people are saying local masjid, some people are saying so-and-so. Somebody says follow an Islamic body. Somebody says that I'm from Rockville, Maryland. Oh yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's a principle, an Islamic principle that, actually a fiqh principle. And if you understand this, and you embrace it, it will solve the moonfighting issue for you. So this is the principle. The principle goes like this. حكم الحاكم يرفع الخلاف. حكم الحاكم يرفع الخلاف. حكم, the ruling of the ruler, ends the difference of opinion. حكم الحاكم يرفع الخلاف. The ruling of the ruler ends the difference of opinion. So these opinions are valid. But imagine if, for example, you go to a court case, an Islamic court case, and there's an issue that there's a difference of opinion about. Maybe it's a marital issue and stuff like that. And there's, one madhab says this, one madhab says, whatever the ruler says, the judge decides, then you can't say, yeah, but there's a difference of opinion. This is a ruling. And this is the Muslim judge who has decided. So it ends the difference of opinion. So the question isn't, so whenever somebody says, so what do you follow? Do you go moonsighting, or do you do calculation? Do you do this? That's the wrong question. I actually say this thing, when people ask me questions, I always say, it's hard for me to answer because it's the wrong question. The correct question should be, who is the ruler that you need to defer to in your life? Who is the ruler, the Muslim ruler that you're deferring to in your life? And they're the ones who determine the moonsighting or which opinion to go with. So that's why this issue isn't a problem in Muslim countries, because you've got a ruling body that is determining the moonsighting and everybody just goes with that. Right? So you got country after country, no problem. And then you start moving into countries where Muslims are minorities. And then who is the jurist? Who has the authority in those kind of countries? That's where the problem comes in, because now we are confused. And what people tend to do is they fall back on, let everybody become a mufti. Not only everybody in the community become mufti in North America and the West, what happens is even in the same family, everybody becomes a mufti. And so even in the same family, you can get 3 different opinions. One person's following back home, one person's following local, one person is following, global sighting or something like that. And then they're fasting on 3 different days. And then they're breaking Eid on 3 different days. So this is what you do, my friends. And by the way, just a reminder, tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala, we are going to be doing this at 1 p.m. New York time. Taraweeh Truffles is back. We're going to do these Facebook Live daily huddles, but the focus is going to be on the Quran and focusing on what's being recited in the Taraweeh prayers, inshallah ta'ala. That's 1 p.m. tomorrow. What was I going to say? Yes. So the first thing that you want to look at, who has the legal authority? If you're in a Muslim country, go with the Muslim country. If you're not in a Muslim country, let's talk about territory. Maybe you have some territory or something like that. Then let's suppose you don't have that territory in that country that's following that has a legal ruler, then you move into a council. So you might be in some countries where there's a council of imams, council of Islamic organizations. Not everybody's on the council, but that council is like, it's a good 95% of the community or 80%. Great, go with the council. Let's suppose you don't have a council. Then you want to go with, for example, the majority of the community. Majority of the community could be like, hey, this community has 10 masajid in your city or 5 masajid, and 4 of them are fasting on one day, and that they figured this out. And one masjid is like, no, we're going to follow back home or something like that. No problem. Go with the 4 masjids. You're good. Or when it comes down to it, you go with what your local masjid is doing. Like worst case scenario, what does the imam at your local masjid where you're praying Taraweeh, or that's where your community is and that's where you're celebrating Eid, who is making the decision there? And then you go with that. And there you have it, friends. You don't have to fight about moon sighting. You don't have to become a mufti. Not everybody in your family needs to answer this question. The ruler needs to answer this question. I never answer this question somebody says, so what's your opinion on moon sighting? I'm like, I don't care. It's not that I don't care, I care. But it's not my responsibility to make a decision like that. The ruler is, and so you just have to find out who the ruling is. So now the question comes up, what if, I go with this and, locally or whatever, our committee goes with something, and then halfway through Ramadan or by Eid or something like that, we find out that we were wrong. Oh my God, we made a mistake. We're human beings and we made a mistake. Are we in big trouble with Allah because we did that? Are we in big trouble with Allah? And I've seen this before. Maybe a few years ago, there was like this fake news going around that like everybody who followed Saudi has to pay an expiation and do tawbah, and you're in big trouble because you missed a day of Ramadan, something like that. Fake news. It's fake news because that's not true. That's not how Islam works. So if somebody did this, they followed, maybe you're in the West somewhere and you have a local community council and all these imams have come together and they followed an opinion and they said, hey, Ramadan is this day and great, and you start in Eid and everything's wrong, and then you find out you're wrong later, it's not a problem because they tried their best. And even if they made a mistake, the Prophet ﷺ said, as-sawm yawma tasumun wal-fitr yawma tuftirun. It's a beautiful hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ said, and they're all beautiful hadith, the day of Ramadan is the day that you started. And fitr, the Eid al-Fitr, the end of Ramadan, is the day that you broke your Eid. So if you follow this ruling, and that's what Islam is requiring from you. Now, and I want to make like a side point as well on this topic, and that is, how beautiful is it that the whole world is coming together to combat the coronavirus? How awesome is that? How good does that feel? You're all around the world. Everybody's working together, keeping everybody safe. Everybody's staying home, and it's such a beautiful feeling. Now, if that's the case, then what about in Ramadan, where everybody's coming together? And the beautiful thing about this is a ruling like this that decide who has the legal authority to make these decisions for you, and then follow them, and you'll find, inshallah ta'ala, you'll also resolve that and get that unity that you're looking for and that beautifulness, inshallah ta'ala. And that's it, my friends. And so before we go, if you're serious, you want to get some amazing gems this Ramadan at 1 p.m., this daily huddle is changing to 1 p.m. New York time, which is, I think I understand, 6 p.m. UK, and I don't know the conversions for any other countries. Inshallah ta'ala, we're starting tomorrow. Taraweeh Truffles is back. It's a classic like Coca-Cola. It is the original. The 2000, we did Taraweeh Truffles. The first one was like 2008. And inshallah ta'ala, we're bringing it back this Ramadan. I chose 1 p.m. because inshallah ta'ala, even when we're teaching Visionaire, and Visionaire is coming up, and you should register right away. Visionaire Ramadan is going to be amazing, inshallah ta'ala. Even when we're doing Visionaire, inshallah ta'ala, I'll still continue to do the Taraweeh Truffles. Visionaire sessions start at 1:30 p.m. New York time, and Taraweeh Truffles will be at 1 p.m. And that's it, my friends. Jazakallah khairan. Around the world, The Ramadan moon has been sighted in Saudi, and usually when it's sighted in Saudi on the first day, then all around the world, people are moon sighting. Everybody kind of gets together on that. Okay, guys, we're done. Sundus wants to ask a riddle. Tell us, Sundus, what's your riddle? We're waiting for Sundus's riddle. And sorry, yeah, I'll take some questions too while you guys. If somebody has a question, you're welcome to ask. We are done. If you want to tap out, you're welcome to. If you have a question, you can ask. Alaikum assalam, Asma. Asma, we're going to do Taraweeh Truffle starting tomorrow at 6 p.m. UK time. Inshallah. Al-Fitr yawma tuftirun. My local masjid was a founding member of the city's moon sighting committee. Last year, they decided not to follow that committee and made their own decision, so we did follow them, but it was super confusing for the community as masajid in the same area were doing different days. So that's what happened, Sarish, when, let me pin this. You know, sometimes there's one moment. Sometimes there's this committee that we're talking about, a committee, and then people do a committee, and it sounds all nice until one person decides that their opinion is too important to accept, you know, difference of opinion. So then one masjid basically just says, you know what, we're tapping out of this committee, and they go and do their own thing, and then it's just, you know what, in my community, that same thing happened. There was kind of like one masjid that was separate from the committee, and it just created havoc in the city. That's what I was talking about when there's like 5 masjids, 4 of them are on one side, and one is just kind of like, no, we're going to follow back home or something like that. So that's what happened. So in the end, alhamdulillah, khair, this masjid that in my community also got onto the committee. And that was great, and things were resolved. What should you do though, Sarish? I would say that if that masjid that went rogue is not following the committee, but that's the masjid that you always go to, that's the masjid that, you know, your family goes to, that's the masjid where you pray Taraweeh all the time, that's the masjid where you're going to be doing Eid with everybody, you know what, Wallah alam, I think it might be just go with that local masjid. Even though I don't feel like they're doing the best thing, they should go with the main community masjid, but if you're 100% with that masjid all the time, then it might be good to just stick with them. Wallahu a'lam. Other questions? We're waiting for the riddle. I'm trying to get this on another page as well so that what? I can see it twice. Muhammad Ahmed says, what is Taraweeh Truffles about? Taraweeh Truffles means like chocolates, like gems, like sweets. So Taraweeh Truffles are like Taraweeh sweets, and they're verses of Quran that are recited in the Taraweeh that night, and I do a reminder based on that verse. So I'll tell you guys a little analogy, a little story, tell you the verse from the Quran, and something to understand, basically Quranic reflections. Allahu Alam. Taraweeh Truffle starts at 1 p.m. tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. So these Facebook Lives are going to be at 1 p.m. New York time, starting from tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala, with Taraweeh Truffle themes. All right, here we go. Here is from Sundus. This is our riddle for the day. Let me get my page. A woman shot her husband, held him underwater, and hung him. Later, they went out for dinner. How it come? Sundus. What do you guys think? What's the answer to the riddle? What is the answer to the riddle? Waiting for answers to the riddle. She took a picture. Nice. That makes sense. Hafsa, did she get it right? She took a picture. She shot her husband and later hung him. Drown him? Yeah. Well, if you're talking about like old school photography, then yeah. All right, folks. Any other questions or khalas? If somebody asked the question earlier on and, okay, here we go. Sharifa's question says, if a sister is not praying but continues to read the Quran during these days for the purpose of completing the Quran during Ramadan, is it okay? You know what comes to mind, Sharifa, is that there's a difference of opinion on the issue. And to be honest, I don't want to say it from the top of my head. I don't know what the conclusion of that difference of opinion is. Like, I haven't come to a conclusion about it, so I'd rather not talk about it. Wallahu alam. My apologies. Inshallah ta'ala, maybe I'll look it up and maybe in another session I'll try giving you the answer. Any other questions? Asiya Juma's question, can a person follow Saudi Arabia? So Asiya, let me tell you why the Saudi Arabia thing is so tempting for people. That's probably like a fifth opinion, which is just follow Saudi Arabia. Because it's the Kaaba, right? It's the Kaaba. Because when it comes to the other Eid, when it comes to Eid al-Adha, which is the Hajj Eid, like the whole world follows that moon sighting. Like nobody's going to say that, Eid is not the Eid of the Hajj. It's like, no, we got a different Eid. So that, because of that issue that happens in Hajj time, other people kind of turn it like, look, if we do that during Hajj, then why don't we do it in Ramadan as well? Just go with Saudi Arabia. And then you've got different opinion. People are like, no, sight the moon, see it yourself. People are like, anywhere in the world, even if it's not Saudi Arabia, doesn't have to be Saudi Arabia. And then you have people saying, let me just follow my home country. A third person says, let's just do calculations. But that's where the Saudi thing comes from. Lavon's question, is it not that it's a problem that some Muslim countries are using two different calendars for the calendar? It's actually causing them to make mistakes. To be honest, Lavon, I don't know the details of what they do, but I would guess that the calendar that they use throughout the year isn't actually like, oh, they're not going to base the moon sighting on that. Like, there's a regular calendar throughout the year it's just a calendar. Wallahu alam. And then when Ramadan comes along, there's the moon sighting committees and there's scholars and there's people that come together for moon sighting. And I don't think they just base it on, well, we've got a calendar and whatever the calendar says. Nobody really says, whatever the paper calendar says. In a mythical valley. Mythical valleys are cool. Any other questions? Nabila says, can I teach my son Quran without having wudu? Yeah, you can. You can teach Quran without wudu. The issue is about touching the Quran without wudu. That's where the difference is. But you can teach Quran without wudu. No problem. Wallahu alam. Yasmina's question says, if a woman is pregnant or breastfeeding and cannot fast, how can she feed a poor for the whole Ramadan in this lockdown situation? Wallahu alam, Yasmina, how she feeds poor is she sends the money to people who are feeding the poor. Allah knows best. Isra Khalid says, how can I be consistent in my du'as and have faith? Because you gotta have faith and have more trust in Allah. I'm joining Visionaire for the first time this year. First, Isra, I would like to welcome you to Visionaire, inshallah ta'ala. Most welcome sister, I believe sister, right? Isra. And inshallah ta'ala, those questions are going to be answered. That's what the whole course is about. So let me say, how can you be consistent in my du'as? What you'll see in Visionaire is that when the du'as that you're making are ones that you truly care about, that they're coming from the deepest part of your heart, and you really care about it, you will be consistent. If you choose du'as that are not from the deepest part of your heart, then it's hard to be consistent making du'a for things that you don't care about. So that's about consistency. Having faith, I have one of the sessions in Visionaire is all about, actually, even before we get to du'a selection, I talk about having like real trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like knowing that du'a works. So somebody may say, well, once upon a time I made du'a for something and it didn't work out. And because of that, I don't trust in du'a anymore. May Allah forgive us. But they'll say, I don't trust in du'a anymore because, my heart was broken that time that I made du'a for something and it didn't work out. Like, for example, somebody may say, oh, my mom was sick and I made like du'a from the heart and my mom passed away and God didn't heal my mom. So therefore, I don't trust du'a anymore. So that might be, okay, somebody's had a situation like that. I'm going to be talking about du'a and how powerful it is and regaining that faith. And actually, day number 1 of Visionaire, I deal with mental hurdles that people need to jump over to get to a point where they really ask what they want. Because a lot of times people have this, when they're making their du'as, they ask for things that they think, like kind of like they lower the bar. They lower their bar on their du'as because they're thinking to themselves, well, you know what, if I ask for big things, like things that I care about, I don't know if they're going to happen. I don't want to be disappointed. So let me just aim low. That way I'll never be disappointed. I'll aim low. That way I'll never be disappointed. And I talk about that inshallah ta'ala, inshallah. Visionaire, you guys, has actually, the group is begun and everybody's in there. For those of you who are registered for Visionaire, please get in the Facebook group, start to introduce yourself, meet other people. I usually hang back from the Visionaire Facebook group until the students take ownership of the Facebook group, because I have this issue where if I start talking, people just kind of keep quiet and then I have to talk a lot. So I'd rather the students take ownership of the Facebook group before I get involved, inshallah ta'ala. So if you're registered for the class, jump in. Inshallah ta'ala, it seems like this is going to be one of our best Visionaires ever. Aminat says, wa alaikum assalam, Aminat. A sister who is sick just told me she has 10 days of fast from last Ramadan. Not paid, meaning not completed, not made up because of sickness. How can she pay it now and the present Ramadan Mubarak? So here's the thing. If she missed, she still hasn't made up 10 days of Ramadan, it is what it is. She needs to fast this Ramadan and then make up the 10 days after Ramadan if she can. I don't know if you're talking about a sickness that, she's never going to get better from. And in that case, then she can pay for it, like feed people instead of the fasting. But if she can fast, but she just arrived at this Ramadan, she should fast Ramadan, wallahu alam, and then after Ramadan, make up the 10 days that she missed. Sidhu says, wa alaikum assalam, brother, please, Sheikh, my wife is pregnant at the same time she is weak. How will she do in this fasting Ramadan while I don't have money? What should I do? Salam from Ghana. Okay, guys, we're done. I think there's one more comment that I want to bring up after this, and then I will then we will shut down. And tomorrow, final reminder, if you're serious, you guys, and you want to join up, we've got our Taraweeh Truffles is going to be the mass daily community huddle. It's going to be Taraweeh Truffle Ramadan edition. It's going to happen at 1 p.m. We are going to be, the focus of these sessions and these community huddles is going to be on the Quran, inshallah ta'ala. So each day in Ramadan, each juz that we're reciting, I'll take a verse from those, a couple of verses, and the reminder will be on the Quran, inshallah ta'ala. Taraweeh Truffles. Okay, so Sidhu, if your wife can't fast, then she can fast and she can make it up later. So you don't have to pay. If she's going to feel better, inshallah ta'ala, after she gives birth and she's feeling better, she can make up her fasts afterwards. Wallahu alam. So you don't have to pay for the missed fast. You just focus on completing the fast. You focus on, staying healthy during Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala, after she gives birth or when she's feeling better, then she makes up the fasts. Allah alam. All right, last post. Khadija Qadi says, people are sharing the below post. Let me pin it for you guys. People are sharing the below post. Is this a good thing to do? Assalamu alaikum. I want to be the first to beg for forgiveness before Ramadan arrives. Sorry if there's anything that might have caused any pain in your heart. Sorry if you cried any day because of me. Sorry if I once hurt you knowingly or unknowingly. Ramadan is approaching. It's better to clear my soul so that my fasting shall be accepted by God, inshallah. Honestly, this is the truth from the bottom of my heart. I can never know. So people are sharing this, Khadija. You're saying, is this a good thing to do? I don't know. It's like a chain letter. I don't really feel like it comes from the heart when somebody forwards it. But maybe it might be better to just, just send maybe somebody that that you've hurt or something like that, or you want to ask forgiveness from. Send them a direct message. Don't send them a forward, but send them a message like, hey, it's Ramadan. Just wanted to mention, if I've hurt you or something like that, please forgive me. I think that would have a bigger effect than sending a chain message. But in general, it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong in that post. Whatever. Wallahu alam. All right, guys. Jazakallah khairan. Final reminder, we've got Taraweeh Truffles is starting tomorrow at 1 p.m. New York time. So this session that we do normally at 2:55 p.m. New York time is going to be shifted to 1 p.m. I decided this so that I can keep it up throughout the whole month of Ramadan. So that even when I'm teaching visionary classes, I will still do the Taraweeh Truffles, inshallah ta'ala, daily. And so there won't be a conflict in the time. And then the second reason is our current time right now coincides with Maghrib in the UK, and that's going to be a problem in Ramadan time. So that's why we're doing 1 p.m. New York time, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is 6 p.m. New York time. So that will give people in the UK, 6 p.m. UK time, people in the UK a chance to have time before Maghrib comes in. Jazakallah khairan. Ramadan Mubarak to all of you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.